Let's bring in the MP for North West Norfolk, James Wilde, to talk more about this. James, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Chris.
What's your view on the Droves development?
Well, I'm opposing this project. My constituents in Castle Acre and other villages are deeply concerned at the scale of this development. It's proposed to be 2,700 acres of farmland, which is 3 times the size of the largest existing solar site. And I think we should call them solar power stations. They're not farms. They're going to be industrialising what is currently farmland and countryside and turning it into an industrial landscape. And people are deeply concerned. And I think that this project is the wrong project in the wrong place.
We need more renewable forms of energy. Lots of solar farms, or solar power stations, if you prefer, being planned for Norfolk. Is there a danger of NIMBYism in the county about these developments?
No, I think we do need renewables as part of the energy mix, along with nuclear and continued role for oil and gas, but it's about where is the appropriate siting. And I think having this project, and then there's another project called Highgrove, which is 4,000 acres, which is planned for the same area, means that the cumulative impact is going to be very damaging for Norfolk and for a particular importance of the heritage siting. So we're not against solar. I don't think local people are against solar, and people who spoke at the inquiry alongside me weren't opposed to solar, but they're opposed to it in the wrong place and the wrong setting. And we can't just have this infrastructure dumped on Norfolk along with pylons and substations and other infrastructure and ignore the views of local people.
Isn't this one of the issues, though, that a lot of people say they're not opposed to solar as an idea, but quite often when a plan is suggested, that local residents don't want it near them? That is a balance that we've got to come to terms with, isn't it?
Well, it is a balance, but we should be looking to prioritise brownfield sites and making much greater use of rooftops, for example, rather than taking agricultural land. So, for example, at the Droves site, more than half of the land is the best quality agricultural land. I don't think that should be being taken out of production for 40, 50 years when we've seen the importance of food security in recent years through the wars in Ukraine and what's happening in the Strait of Hormuz at the moment. So it is about a balance, but that doesn't mean that local people should just have to accept proposals that are dumped on them. Castle Acre is one of the most significant heritage concentrations in Norfolk, and this solar power station will be right next to it and will damage the setting of those historic sites.
I'm looking at the North Sea right in front of me at the moment, James, and I think I'm right in saying that the Conservative energy policy would be to drill further out to sea, almost where I'm looking now for oil and gas, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. We've currently about 200,000 jobs rely on oil and gas, including many in our area, and we're going to need oil and gas for decades to come. Even the Committee on Climate Change has said that. So my view, my party's view, is it doesn't make sense to be importing that from Qatar or Norway when we have the resources in the North Sea that we could exploit. We'd be losing out on the energy security and importantly losing out on those jobs and the tax revenues that come with them. Norway's just licensed another round of sites very close to the Jackdaw and Rosebank sites, which the government is currently refusing to allow developers to get on with exploiting our natural resource. I think that's the wrong approach. It means we're importing higher carbon gas into our country when we don't need to. So I think it's short-sighted and it undermines our energy security to effectively say that there can be no more new production in the North Sea.
And just finally, a wider political question. It's the first chance we've had to speak to you since the local elections last week. The Conservatives no longer running Norfolk County Council. What's it like being a Norfolk Conservative at the moment?
Well, look, I'm disappointed that many of our excellent candidates who'd worked hard for Norfolk, I'd worked closely with many of them over the last 6 years that I've been in power, have lost their seats, and I pay tribute to their work. My party's still working to win back the trust of the British people, and that's why we're setting out policies to help younger people and to back businesses and to have cheaper energy. We've got more to do in order to win people over. As an MP, I work with people cross-party in Westminster and also with local councillors. There obviously hasn't all been Conservative councillors in my area before, so I'll continue to work with people who want the best for Norfolk.
There was a big showing for reform in West Norfolk, though, 12 of the 14 seats. So does it feel like whenever the next general election is that you face a battle to hold on to your seat from reform?
Well, look, I've never taken my seat for granted. I was very pleased to be re-elected last year. That was a tough campaign. I think people recognise the commitment I have to improving our area, and I'll be continuing to represent and bring investment into West Norfolk. And when